the African Charter on democracy, it will tell you that a civil society is anything outside the military and the government and the state. Okay? So it means that if you are not part of the state, if you are not part of the military, you are a civil society. So, Mr. Njapau here, if you are an individual as you are part of the civil society. So I've heard people who are saying, the church will say, you civil society. I've heard the marketeer say, you civil society, not knowing that they are themselves civil society. We are NGOs, okay? We are NGOs. So an NGO can be civil society just like the church. So anything outside the state, anything outside government is civil society. So we as civil society and we as NGOs, we have been sometimes, misconstrued to be, especially as in the human rights, in the governance arrangement, we have been construed to be politicians. Indeed, you cannot be a human rights defender if you are not a politician. Because politics is about intimidating human rights. So if you want, they say that send a thief to catch a thief. If you want to defend human rights, you have to be a politician.
Now, where is the line drawn between being a civic leader and...
No. There's a practicing a politician in a partisan way. Because even political parties are civil society. They are, political parties are civil society. They are not part of the, part of the state. No. They are outside the state, and they are not even military.
Can they support a political party?
Which one?
Can they support a political party in general? Can a civil society organization
of course,
support a political
I can tell
openly?
you, in 2013? No, 2011. 18 civil societies, not 2011, that was 2009, 2010, 2009. 18 civil society, including FODEP where I was serving. We went at Kamwala to give support to the PF that time, where PF held a rally at Kamwala there to denounce the corruption then perceived to be in the MMD. And we all united. We supported what PF was saying. And that's how you saw PF gaining support from 2009 up to 2011 when they got power through an election from the MMD. So civil society can meet around a common cause that is being pushed by a political party. It's very, very easy.
MMD was created by civil society.
Exactly.
Do you know why its secretariat was MMD? EAZ.
You see?
EAZ in 1991, when MMD was formed, EAZ was the secretariat of the MMD.
Correct.
Laz was also part of, MMD.
Yes.
And a lot of others.
Yes, correct. So that happens.
Well,
actually, even I think is it in Egypt? I think when there was a coup, one of those coups, it was the civil society and everybody who stood together. And I remember after, I think one of these countries, even in Sudan actually, Sudan, when that coup happened, some of the civil society were appointed, were part of the movement that pushed this man, who is this Bashir, out of that. Even in Malawi, that movement you saw around Chakwera, there were a lot of civil society around there. And when he won, he appointed some of them in various places. So we are together with political parties, because opposition political parties, because we are non-state actors.
So they can be hijacked. Simply, sometimes the organization itself can be hijacked by a political party.
It depends. Yes, you can be hijacked if you don't know that here we have a politician who has interest. Because what happens with politicians is that they have no permanent friends, but they have permanent interests. So when they know that you are pushing for their interest, or you are pushing the same interest, they'll be your friends. Immediately they arrive at their interest, they dump you. You are no longer a friend of a politician. but now they are interested in the interest. That's why you find that some civil society, they will start crying. No, but we are together. You know? Why? It's because they are friends now. They have gotten their interest and they have left you outside. They can't even answer your cause. But that time when you had one interest, they would call you. MacDonald, where are you? We are here. Okay, let's meet here. I think we need to. The moment they get into power, you are no longer a friend. They have the interest. So now, another group now will come of politicians say, okay, what do we do now? I think these guys maybe have failed. Can we unite and make sure that we remove them? We are now friends. Immediately they also get there, you are no longer a friend. They move.
What is the role, what is the relationship between civil societies and the donor community, embassies and you know, other institutions?
Well, I think the civil society play a very critical role in this interface between the embassies and other development agencies like UNDP and many others. The civil society are seen to be in the middle, so to say, between government and the opposition, okay, in terms of taking up issues. So the embassies would want to hear what is the view of the civil society on various matters. For example, it can be economics or economical matters. How do you think Zambia can move? You know, so these embassies would make, at once in a while, they even call civil society. Let's meet. Let's hear what are your views. Maybe how government is run. You know, how the economy is moving. You know, how the civic space is what. So you give them. So that interface helps the embassies now to, when they meet at bilateral levels or multilateral levels, now to say, government, people are complaining of maybe the shrinking space, okay? People are complaining that you are not fighting corruption properly. You are being vindictive. What they hear from the civil society, they hear from different, they call academia, you have been there, so, academias, civil society, media, and so on, and they meet. So, like I said, civil society is a big thing. So you have, in this you have components, NGOs, you have academia, you have media, you have what. So these embassies, they call different stakeholders. They call the media, what do you think about the media environment? They will be told. So when they meet the government, they will tell them what they are hearing from the stakeholders, how they feel about the media environment, how they feel about the civic space, how they feel about the democratic space from the political parties. Because the challenge is that if they only hear from government is always positive. Okay? No, everything is okay. Even if the economy is nosediving, they'll tell you, actually, we are growing at 10%.
So, addressing a very important question of the role of the civil society in economic development. How does the civil society, or rather, what role does the civil society play in economic development? A
lot. Like I said, civil society is not only NGOs. Okay, you have EAZ is a civil society, and you have heard a number of analyses that come from Economic Association of Zambia. Okay, and when they are speaking with authority because that is their expertise, and they guide government to say, look, the economy perhaps is going this way. You can bring it this way. And if government is listening, you find that they put measures that will help the economy grow. Us in the governance, we always tell them, if you want the economy to grow and be stable, you need a stable democratic environment. So when we see that the democratic space is shrinking, we speak out, we advise, we do analysis, and we give examples of how the democratic space is shrinking, because without a stable democratic space, without a stable democratic environment, you cannot have sustainable development. You can't, because like now we are talking of what is happening in Ukraine, and you know, because of the instability there, which is caused the way politicians have managed their relationship with another country, we don't know. But the instability there has destroyed what could have been a block that you had just put on top. Okay, so it has been brought to the ground because of instability. So even us here in Zambia, for example, as civil society, as NGOs, we do our analysis, we give government. Like in 2019, we launched as civil society through Action Aid. We launched what we called the shrinking civic space, okay, in Zambia, and we tabulated how it actually hinders development, because what we found out from that study is that people could not, you know, assert themselves because they were discriminated based on political affiliation, based on tribal lines, based on regional, you know, where you are coming from, and so on and so. So people would fear even to venture in certain places, or even go and get, you know, loans from CEE, because they will say, we hear that you are from this opposition, we can't give you. So in doing so, you are actually, you know, undermining proper thinking from other people, and you kill economic development. Not only that, when civil society, when we have like here gears, we formed ourselves in 2016. We have employed a few people, and from those few people, we are able to pay as you earn. We are able to pay as NAPSA, and that NAPSA that we are paying is what you see these buildings that are doing there. NAPSA is investing our own money that we are. Now imagine if there was no gears. Imagine if there was no Action Aid. Some of these civil society, they are employing thousands of people. Some of these civil society, they are in service delivery. Talk about is an NGO. Is busy drilling boreholes, is busy giving education, you know, building schools, and so on and so forth. That in itself is contributing to economic development of our country. So civil society in this country actually have a bigger contribution to the economic development that we are seeing today in this country.
Gears played a very huge role in monitoring last year's election.
Yes.
What do you think are the challenges that we face in Zambia in terms of democracy? Do citizens understand democracy? At what level is our democracy? Is it contributing to national economic development, or is it just dividing us as a country?
Well, I think the challenge which we have in our democracy is that we have not really appreciated the term democracy, one. Two, we still have the unique mentality that at any given time there should be only one party existing and everyone should belong to that party. This is why you find that when it comes to empowerment, like it used to happen in the past, is only members of one political parties are favored than the other political party. Now, when you have embraced multi-party democracy, for example, for us, because we have moved away from the one-party participatory democracy to multi-party participatory democracy, if you want, it means that at any given time, you have political parties, more than one political party. Now, do we have to wait for my political party to be in power for me to enjoy the benefits of being a Zambian? The answer is no. And that is where we have not understood multi-party democracy. Immediately a party wins, they now become like, they enclose themselves. Anyone outside their rooms is not part of, should not even enjoy any benefits from government. that in itself shows you that we have not appreciated democracy. Otherwise, we would have allowed, when a president wins, when a government wins, it's a government of all people, including those political parties that were defeated, including those that did not participate. Now, because we feel that when I win, that's the winner takes it all. This is why you find now that you have appendices, political parties who want to associate with the ruling party. Because if they remain outside, they will not have any benefit. They will wait for another political party that will get into power. That is why, that's one aspect of whether we have appreciated democracy. Secondly is that we have not appreciated that political parties are the soul and the lifeblood of multipartyism. Without political parties, you cannot talk about multipartyism. Okay? And because we have not done that, this is why even the political party bill has taken this long. We are reluctant to implement, to even enact that, because we don't appreciate the existence of political party. Actually, the existence of political party is a nuisance. You would rather, if there was a way, all political parties would have been deregistered and only one ruling party should remain. So, with that, we need a lot of civic education to appreciate, people to appreciate that we need Dr. Habazoga to exist. We need Mr. Njapao to exist. We need to interface, regardless of our different opinions. We have to exist, to coexist. And if I come to Doc, I don't agree with him. For example, we differ on Russia.
Yeah,
but we have not ceased to talk. We have not ceased to joke. But when it comes to Russia, me, I say, no, me, I don't support Russia. He will support Russia. Okay? But if it was a political party, we will start fighting.
Yes, we will never even meet on the
No, we don't. He wouldn't even call me here. He would not have called me here to say, come and I host this, come and be my guest. No. That one is, I don't like him because he belongs to this political party. He doesn't support my country, or he doesn't support my... So that is where we have a problem.
For clarity, everyone is welcome here, despite of different...
yes, what I'm trying to give is this scenario that we had, this polarization, based on political affiliation, tribalism. Why? Is because we have not appreciated democracy. Because democracy, I've told people, democracy is the noise concept. Okay? Democracy is if you want to be in a country where everyone is quiet, try dictatorship. Okay? And maybe somehow socialists, they also don't like criticizing. You know, where I come from in Chirundu there is a song that was sung by one of the Zimbabwean musicians. He said, Mutsiruzi usingarire bere. Okay, meaning that what type of a village where even the hyenas are afraid to make their own noise? This is where sometimes when you don't appreciate democracy, you don't want anyone to criticize you. Whoever criticizes you, jail. Whoever criticizes you, marginalization, discrimination. Otherwise, democracy is about criticism, but still interfacing with each other, dialogue with each other, deliberating with each other, and negotiating with each other. That is what democracy entails.
Okay.
So you asked me about why we monitored last elections. Again, there are some people who are saying, you see, in the last elections, there were a lot of partisan NGOs that went to monitor, and I've told people, that was democracy. Okay? Because when UPND had their own NGOs, PF had their own NGOs, it meant that if there was rigging, both of them were seeing what was happening. And they were witness to that rigging, or they were witness to not that rigging. And when you read their statement, you get rich information. Because all of us, the two camps, were watching what was happening. But if you say, no, those we don't want to meet them because they belong to that, then you are killing. You are hiding something and you are killing democracy. Democracy is also about freedom of association. Whether it's for you are associating with a political party, that is your freedom. Whether you are associating with NGOs, that is your freedom. If you are associating with the church, that is your freedom. You cannot gag people in a democracy to stop from exercising their right to association. As for me, one thing I've appreciated is that I've been called all sorts of names here and there, but I mingle with anyone who wants. Even if I am called by PF now, come and advise them. And one thing I have, Doc and Japao, is that I'm not a diplomatic. That's why I can fail to be in a diplomatic service. Me, I say it the way it is. In Tonga there, where we come from, there's a term that we say, Hesuli Rimwida. Meaning that
translation.
Meaning that when, those days when you have eaten a lot of maize, and now you start gassing from the other side. So you don't hide when you want to gas. It's just boom. Everyone sees, oh, is this one? Okay, but others will say, no, but we don't know here who did this here, and so no. Say it. That's so that you teach people that what they are doing is wrong. You may be called names. Even Jesus himself never hid his displeasure. That's why he ended up beating people, whipping people in the church. How do you do this? But if it were the church of today, they would have said, no, you see, there's poverty, so allow them to trade, although the Bible says this, but it's okay. You can have your stand there. That is why today you have Vitumbua church. People are preaching, others are buying Vitumbua in the same hall.
You're watching Economic Briefcase on Camnet TV. We are going to go for a short break, and when we come back, we read your messages and we open the phone lines. You're watching Camnet TV.
On Monday, 11th April 2022, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba as he hosts Dr. Chishimba Kambwili, PF presidential aspiring candidate.
You can't do this thing if I'm looking to show me. This is not right. No, but this is not right. Even when he was on the cross, feeling the pain, he said, forgive them, Father, for they not know what they do. Equally, I'm a Christian, and that's my life. Where I come from, they say, Nalikwevele tabulapo. Nalikwevele tabulapo. Elo kabiruwa kweve mfoya kwa noko. Mutanji. But sometimes I'm misunderstood.
Don't miss as they discuss the state of the nation on DSTV channel 274, Go TV channel 98, and Topstar channel 106.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp, and text messages. Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Join Pastor Moses Chilwa on the ministry with his guest, Father Emmanuel Chikoya, as they discuss the church and development.
According to the Bible, human life is sacred and care must be taken to preserve human lives at all times and by all means.
Don't miss on Friday 8th April 2022 on DSTV channel 274, Go TV channel 98, and Topstar channel 106.
Welcome back. You're watching Economic Briefcase on Camnet TV. Now we have opened the phone lines. You can participate. Today we are discussing the role of civil society in national economic development, and our guest is Mr. MACDONALD CHIPENZI. Director, let's check out some messages. MACDONALD, ndalumba maningi. Maybe you read yes. For me.
Yeah, okay. Ndalumba maningi gubu panduruzi wenu ino mebo ndila penzi lipati liyandiga bubandiga so ndilomba namba yenu.
Next message. Good evening. I follow this program and I was much blessed with Mr. Jerry's contribution. Concerning our guest today, my advice is that don't take sides, but remain professional. In the previous regime, you lost your identity. Dr. Edward Mwansa Kitwe. I don't know whom they're missing, whom they're referring to.
Whether it's you, it's me, or yeah. Yeah, so it's very difficult really to again, the issue of neutrality, the word neutrality is being abused. Because if you are in justice sector, it will be an injustice for me, Doc, to see an elephant stepping on the tail of a rat, and the rat is asking for help because the elephant has stepped on it. Then I go there as a human rights defender. I say, no, you see me, I'm neutral here. I don't think that the rat will appreciate your presence there. It would be better you go, so that it endures its own pain. And this is where we have a problem, because sometimes you find that maybe governments have gone wrong, politicians have gone wrong, but people expect you to be neutral. How do you dare to be neutral when injustice is being done? Right. Okay? To me, I don't believe in that. And I've told people where injustice has been done, I will speak. And you see, democracy now, I've seen that with the new dawn emphasizing more on the rule of law, I'm seeing a lot of citizens in this country being in conflict with the law. Why? Is because we had taken lawlessness as a norm. Okay? We had taken lawlessness as a norm. We had taken illegality as a norm. Now when we say this is, you have to follow the rule of law, a lot of us were in those lawlessness kind of behavior. We find that now we say, but why should I be arrested for spitting? You know that in this country, there is even a law that outlaws spitting in public. Where our Kosomora, then you, in public, it is an offense. So if that law, if the new dawn is to respect that law to the letter, how many of these people on the streets will be arrested? A lot of them. And when you say, yes, let's follow the law, others will say, look, he has changed the camps. Why is he doing this? So this is where the problem is. So neutrality and impartiality is actually next to injustice. It's actually hypocrisy to start saying that I'm neutral when injustice is being done. Again, as a Christian nation, we know that Jesus was not neutral where injustice was being seen. Okay? He was never neutral. He said even to those Pharisees and Sadducees, he told them off. Okay? But like I said, if he wanted to be politically correct, Jesus would have played this card very well, and he wouldn't have died. He wouldn't have died. He would have even been made a king. But he never wanted to be politically correct. And most of us in the civil society, in the NGOs, we want always to be politically correct. You can't condemn, you can't praise, you can't do, because you want to be always, the president should see you that you are good, you know, you are always, no, the other people should, no. Injustice is injustice.
Is that the reason why in most countries governments are trying to restrict civil societies in the civic and political space?
Yes, of course, because like I said, these NGOs in governance are never the darlings of any state, any government, no. If you do your research, you find that most states, most governments are in bed with NGOs that do service delivery.
Most NGOs rely on donor funding. they rely on donor funding,
Yes.
and there's this narration in the recent times saying African countries don't really need donor aid. Rather, see, donor aid through civil society organization, drive innovation through the transfer of knowledge, analysis, as you say, they offer analysis to the government and other organizations, as well as poverty eradication, which also borders on economic development. But we see people argue that we don't need aid as Africa. What's
of course, that's a double-edged sword. The challenge that we have with aid is that it has to come with conditionalities, and again, it's where we as Africans, we have decided to be aid dependent, okay, and yet all the resources are with us. The same money that you get from America is made from resources that are coming from Africa. All right? To me, that's where I have a problem. It's like another song from Zimbabwe where this Paul Matavire said that you feel thirst while your legs are in water. That is what is happening. We are looking for aid while our entire country is endowed with a lot of resources. Right now we are talking about Ukraine war as having an effect on our oil and so on, and that's why fuel prices have gone up. Yet, if you remember, Doc and Mr. Njapao, you have been following this. It should be during Manawasa's time. There were oil exploration licenses that were given to certain individuals in Northwestern Province and also in the Western Province. And I think over the years, there has been even evidence that there's oil in the Northwestern and Western provinces. Have we made any effort to start even one single mine at a small scale to see whether we can find our own oil? No. Instead, we have been, getting money, spending it anyhow and so on. In the Gwembe, is this Sangano Hill, where residents found oil-like liquid coming from the hill. And I think when people went there, they were able to say, oh, it is like oil. No one has even gone back to see whether it is true oil, so that now we can become self-reliant in this oil. Even if today the war in Ukraine is to end, okay, the issue of sanctions on Russia will not be lifted the same day.
Definitely.
Okay, it will take years to lift those sanctions, and we have good example of Zimbabwe here. In 2000 or 2008, when sanctions were slapped on Zimbabwe, up to now, Zimbabwe is facing those sanctions. They haven't been lifted. So instead of looking inwards now, we don't even talk about the exploration of oil in the Western Province and the Gwembe Valley. We are now saying, no, maybe the war has caused this problem. So yes, it has caused this. What is our alternative? Our alternative now maybe will be, let's go to Venezuela. Let's go to Saudi Arabia. Let's go to Libya. And yet we are working on oil in Zambia. So now, how do you expect to run away from aid? Okay, how do you expect to run out? As I was coming here, I met Pastor Chiruba here, and he was just showing me the avocados and how much money it can generate for this country. Okay, but would rather go to America to look for the IMF World Bank funding, and yet you have avocado here, and we have a lot of land that we can plant those things and get money.
For the evening. Hello, your name and where you're calling from?
This is Grace from Mbembere.
Yes, Grace, can you go ahead?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. you can go ahead with the contribution.
Wow.
We lost that.
You know,
Yeah.
I tell Zambians, you know, gods keep themselves.
Yeah.
You just make a small place where they stay. At night, in the morning you open, they come out. You know where we come from, that area we have goats. My grandfather had over 300 goats. When they go, you don't even know where they have gone to.
Yes.
In the evening, as if you have caught them, you just see them coming back.
Yeah.
You open, they enter, they sleep. In the morning again, you open what they eat, where they drink water from. You don't even know.
Yeah.
Goats keep themselves.
Yeah.
Now in Zambia, we're even failing to keep goats.
Yeah.
That keep themselves.
And I can give you a good example.
Let's try our. Yes, your name and where you calling from?
Hello?
Hello, good evening. Your name and where you calling from?
Oh, my name is Mwagapanda. I'm calling from Lusaka.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hello?
You can go ahead.
Okay, I have seen that the video man is there. The man with all the video.
Mr. Chipen.
McDonald. You can just McDonald because yeah.
Yes, what he has said about oil. I feel that we cannot be running to look for aid when we have a lot of resources. Last time I contributed about how much water we have in Zambia and how much land we have. The same Ukraine is a major supplier of wheat, but it looks so small. But it is a major supplier of wheat. However, this war has come as another advantage to us Africans to open up the money so that we can have more, we can do exploration and come up with a oil company. For example, as I said, in North State Province and Wakuna. Last time I was in Kawambania, so there they were doing some exploration. I don't know what happened with the CS government. They stopped. Can you encourage the government to do that? Because you speak for the people, you speak for the marginalized, as who are marginalized. And I've been told, for a long time, there's something that when you speak, something catches my heart, you speak the truth. So is Mr. Villa. You are the generation that will come up with a system whereby they are focused to empower them. Forget about these old people. We cannot speak old people up. Yes, they have done that, but now it's your time to do. Rise up and become the leaders that can help us become what we want to become. Me, I try to this situation because it is a job with a lot of resources, a lot of manpower, huge manpower, labor. We cannot do when you go to town in freedom, you find out many people are saying that. Young men, how can the country develop like that? Speak for us so that we are clean. Everyone should rise up and look at what I'm talking. We can't just let's inculcate the culture of Tonga. Everyone must have a mindset with Tonga. A Tonga, you must see a Tonga happening with this. There's no Tonga with anger. But you find these on paper. I have that Tonga of Tonga. I want to become like Tonga. A Tonga-oriented mindset. Where you have a lot of food at home, you have a lot of resources. But you look at how many people are in town doing it like nothing. What are they? They just will come up with their things like how that is this. But such things so that the economy as a whole is speaking as it is. That's also the customer mind we're doing this finance is the mind.
Yeah.
But if we can have things as a natural system, small system, all these populations that are being done in the community, if they can empower them and we give them land, they start doing productive things. You will see how much we can go.
Yeah.
We cannot be buying wheat from Ukraine or oil from Russia when we have the cost of it. And the other thing that's very important, the MEFA, like the MEFA. If we have the companies like the MEFA, more companies to process copper. How can we buy cable from China? The same cable that was, if everyone was from Coconut, I did not last. Yeah, to like to that master for this, yeah, and finish the process. Yeah, when the cable, to go to she got there, what the one no, like how we have like this.
Thank you. We are hearing you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, I think he has brought in serious issues, and I wanted to give an example. One time I was in Cape Verde in 2012, and Cape Verde had 1,000 that time, or 1,500,000 individuals. And when we went around, they were telling us to say, look, out of 1,500,000 citizens here, 1 million are in diaspora. Okay, on government arrangement. So they were in the Portugal, in the US, and so on. So these people, they bring some income to the country. So Cape Verde is developed because of its own citizens that have gone out and bring resources here. So only 500,000 people were living on that island. And also that they export human resource, that is, they export human resource. Then also, one thing I saw there was that they don't have any hydroelectrical power station. They have solar and wind, okay? And the time I stayed there was no load shedding. That's when they were load shedding here. Wind and solar. That's what empowered them there. I went to Egypt. I visited almost 26 districts there. One region that really touched my heart, and I asked the Honorable Hari Karab at that time, Minister of Foreign Affairs, was the Sinai region, which is the driest region in Egypt. Okay? At that particular time, it was the highest producer of mango.
Wow.
So what they are doing is, where sand dunes live, you know, today you have a mountain there, then they live. They are pushed to the next. Those they were putting alluvial soils from the Nile River, and then started planting mangoes. As we are speaking now, some of these mango drinks we are drinking, they are from the Sinai region. Okay, they have even created one of the largest man-made canal, which can carry, you know, ship from Swiss Canal to the port side. Not only that, Egypt has only one river, which is the Nile River. And all the 26 districts I visited, they had a canal from Nile River. And wherever we went, we are being welcomed with fresh vegetables, fresh apples, fresh whatever. And so I asked myself, Zambia has how many water bodies? Just here in Siavonga, where I come from, when it is dry season, animals have nowhere to drink water. We are failing to get even a pipe from Kariba into the inland. Kafue River here, if you go to Chiawa, you go to Chiawa, people are being, you know, eaten up or, you know, attacked by crocodiles because they only go to the Zambezi. There is no canal that comes inside to allow people and their animals to have enough water and do gardening. There's nothing. Right now we are talking of 60,000 teachers unemployed. 60,000 teachers. But those, we can't even export them to some countries that are in shortfall.
We pick our second call, our third call. Yes, your name and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from.
Yes, you can go ahead.
Yes, I've been following your program, and I just want to actually make a contribution to what I've read the discussions mentioning there. Like Mr. CHIPENZI is talking about some areas in Zambia where there have been alleged discoveries of oil. And comparing that we have not taken advantage to exploit those so that we can come out of the department of oil exploration. I really sympathize with this position, but the fact is, when you make discoveries like that, you need to find out outside whether they are commercially viable for an investor to come and drill a bore to start getting oil. And if among us there are no people who have got the capacity to invest, then that will just continue to be a story. We need people within our economy, to our country, to actually invest, to exploit those resources if they really exist. So the concept is not valid, in my opinion, that we are looking at resources in this area that are not exploited. Until we have the capacity as citizens to actually exploit those resources and bring them to economic value, then we will continue seeing the same story. That's my contribution.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You know, that's actually a wonderful contribution.
Yeah.
I think concerning these projects, the use of PPE or project finance would be, which is actually being advocated by what ministry is that?
The infrastructure
and development. Yes, I think that can be utilized.
Yes, you see, Branas, we may not have any capacity any soon, but every step starts with, every long journey starts with one step. Okay, yesterday or the other day I was watching the Minister of Mines closing a gold mine in Mumbwa, somewhere there, and people are making money out of that. Okay, so whether it was economically unviable or it was viable, but people are getting something. Yes. and adding something to the economy. Now, if those small scale arrangement can be done, why can't we support that? Okay, why can't we support that? And this is why perhaps with the new ministry now of medium and small scale whatever, we could venture into that, supporting this small, even exploration. For example, I remember under MMD, when Minister Konga was Minister of Energy, I think, yes, they were talking about Chavuma hydro station. I don't know whether that was done, mini hydro station to supply power in that area. So you find that there are these potentials. But look at the money that we are discovering from people who are stealing money. Now, if that money was invested in developmental activities, do you think even this unemployment we are talking about would be there? No. Today we have people who are celebrating when late Mr. Sata said your retirement age is at 60, from 55 to 60. Now imagine how the gap from 10 years of not employing people. Today we have all these unemployed people on the street. And then we have our education system that is mentoring us to always look for employment in the office. When you talk about go and plant avocado there, people don't want. No. That is for Dr. Habasoka, who has already made his life. But when are you going to make your life? That same avocado, if you plant it, you may even start, it may be your starting point to be somebody in life. So what we are saying is that we have a lot of resources, for example. When I was growing up in the Gwembe Valley was one of the largest producers of cotton. Okay? Supplying Kafue textile, supplying this Gwembe ginnery, and so on. Today, I don't know whether anybody is growing cotton there. And where are we getting these clothes that we're having? It means they're from China. I've heard people, when they are looking for party regalia, they go to China. When we would have been producing, because cotton is doing well in Zambia. Eh? Someone was talking about wheat here. In the Ruapura Valley there, if you have been to Ruapura Valley, you have been to Mweru Antipa, and so on and so forth. Even the Chambeshi Valley there, if you go, you have been there. You find beautiful land that if you plant wheat, you plant rice, Zambia would be maybe self-sufficient. But the same thing of saying, no, is it not economically viable? You end up now start importing through and through. And spending money that you should have started to start a small project that may grow. Now, if even growing cotton is a problem, even growing cotton, which does well in our own country, is a problem, what about rice? Okay? What about rice? Where now you have to, okay, if you have been to Ruapura, even Ruapura province where there is Mweruantipa, there is Bangweulu Lake, there is what you call Ruapura River, you go there, people are still, getting water from the boreholes. So that to me is what is killing Zambia, because we have not really, utilized, and this is why civil society now should push government. The new Dawn government must start looking inwardly, so that tomorrow, if there is another war in Serbia or in Libya, we should not be affected. We should be self-sufficient.
Yes. Director, let's look at some messages, if any. Good evening, Doc and Comrade CHIPENZI. Interesting topic. I like the way Mark is coming out. Please keep it up. E-meeting Fulira. Good evening. This is a good program, and do hope the powers that be are listening. Why are we poor when Zambia has emeralds, best grade, diamonds, uranium, gold, manganese, oil deposits, and even a mineral used in making phones? Can someone tell me Mutale Kitwe? Good evening, Doc, Mr. Njapao, and Mr. CHIPENZI. I'm following the program and learning. My question to Mr. CHIPENZI is, how would you rate the UPND government in terms of rule of law and freedom of speech, especially with the Tayari arrests? Good evening, Mr. CHIPENZI. Kindly help the new Dawn president to disclose exactly what he found in government, like what President Wanawasa did. So far, we don't know how much money KCM made during liquidation. We don't know who gassed us. We don't exactly know who bought the guns that were intercepted by European Coast Guard, and many more scandals which the new Dawn wants to sweep under the carpet. Kelvin Kasongo, Chirawombwe. So there was one question, which the question was, how do you rate government, rule of law?
Well, I think they are, so far I think they are better than the previous regime. Just, is it yesterday or today, when we saw Honorable Rusambo protesting on his own, alone, to the British High Commission. That was unheard of in the previous administration. I remember Mr. Tayari himself being bundled when he protested with only a shot at the headquarters, force headquarters or police headquarters there. Alone protest with his placards. He was bundled and I think he was detained. I remember also late James Lukuku, who protested against the Chinese, the dealings in Zambia. And he was just walking, going to State House there. How he was manhandled by a battalion of police. Now you can see doctors can protest, politicians can protest. Yesterday I was seeing Hari Karaba was in Monze, meeting with the villagers. I don't think that would have happened under the previous regime. I remember Hari Karaba one time was in Northwestern Province where he went to pay a homage to the grave of veteran politician, late politician Humphrey Mulemba, where he was chased by police, just to go and go into the grave, cadres and so on. So I think they are trying to do all those things. And like I said, the rule of law, the challenge with the rule of law is that if you don't know the law and how you have to conduct yourself in the rule of law, you always be in conflict with the law. So the best thing that we need to do now that the new government has adopted the rule of law is legal education. Let's have our constitution be available to Zambians. Let's have all these laws that impact on the citizens' well-being be available so that people can read on their own. So that they know that if I get information from certain quarters and disseminate it, I may be in trouble because the law is saying. So that if there is need, out of an understanding of that law, we can push for the change of certain laws that actually impede on our enjoyment of a democratic space. I think that is what is needed. So far, I think they are doing very fine. Yes, there could be some mistakes here and there, but I think in general terms, they have done well.
There's somebody who says they're trying to downplay certain scandals.
Yeah, I think to me, I agree with that. For me, I expected that the new Dawn government would by now told us who were involved in gassing. More especially that the current spokesperson for the police was there when he issued a statement that we have arrested some of these gassers. And I think that could have caused him his transfer from there to somewhere. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But he was there and he gave a statement. By now we should have known who were the gassers. I don't think that it should take 2 years to know who were gassing us. By now we should have known who bent City Market. By now. By now we should know, like he says, those flags, Zambian flag that was spotted. Is it in the Indian Ocean or the Atlantic Ocean? With they say it had guns, something like that. We should have known by now. So we don't expect even this Forest 27. By now would have seen action. Because the more you delay in doing certain things that you promised Zambians, the more Zambians now take politicians that they are all liars. And because of that, when the Zambian people or when citizens start thinking that you lied, you are actually creating despondency in the citizenry. And what will happen is that in the next election, there will be voter apathy. Because there will be no motivation for people to vote. Even if someone genuinely will come and say, no, me, I'll do this, I'll say, how many Kaunda cheated us? You remember, you people were born during that time. He was saying, each Zambian who have an egg, a pint of milk every day. Every school-going child will have a book free of charge and so on and so forth. How many years did you enjoy those things? By the time Kaunda was being chased, we had no books. Even those which we used to write on the slates. We used to write on slates. They were nowhere there. Textbooks, we are now sharing, 5 of you share one textbook. So that is what we know. People start thinking, no, we tried Kaunda, we failed. We tried Chiluba, we failed. Manawasa, we failed. Arabi, Sata, Edigalungu, now HH, we have failed. So why should we be voting? So electoral democracy will be undermined. So we are appealing to the new Dawn government that you have this information. And when you are always communicating with the people, for example, what are the challenges of us not knowing who gassed us? People died. Me, I remember I lost my own Mlamu, Hakuyu, Timothy Hakuyu. I lost him. We come from the same village here and there. Up to now, we don't know who was involved. Okay? I know of City Market, how many people lost livelihood there at the City Market. To date, we don't know. And we have a new government, 8 months in the office. By now, we should know. I think that's the challenge that the new donor administration should quickly address.
As we end up, Mr. Njapao, your takeaways from today's show?
My takeaway from today's show, well, it's not a takeaway, but it's more of something that I would want to say based on our discussion. I would like to see more participation from the civil society in advocating for policy, sound policy that would bring socio-economic development. We should see more activity from the civil society in giving sound checks and balances to the lawmakers and so on.
Last question.
That's my takeaway.
Rosit John, she had civics, is it civic club?
Yes.
Something like
schools,
that.
yes.
I remember being a member of the civic club. The club was in every school, and there was even some funding. And do we see any such activities from GEARS where we involve the youth? Because that's where the damage is normally done. Exactly.
How I wish resources were like air we breathe. Would want to see civic education in every corner of this country, because what is lacking right now is civic education. Even among the elderlies, they don't understand. This is why you find that a school who have broken windows, no one cares, because it's government property. So there is no that civic responsibility that a government property is my property, it's my children's property, and the children of my children's property. So we leave it. So lack of civic education also has brought down this government, our country. Secondly is that we have like now, the cabinet has approved the National Development Plan, 8th National Development Plan. Civil society will do their part, but they are limited, okay? But if we had resources to open up, clubs like you have put them, the students, the pupils will be discussing the National Development Plan in schools. What is it for us as young people? What is it for us as pupils in Chikankata, in Shangombo, in Chavuma, in Kaputa, in Mgodi, in Lundas? All those things would have been discussed. But you find that National Development Plan will just end up in Chipata, that's all. And only maybe even the DS will be ignorant. The PS, you go there, they will maybe read a few or wait for the statement to be issued, they don't understand. So if we had our own resources, if we could generate resources, and in other countries, civil society is supported by their own government because of the realization of their contribution to economic development, their contribution to human rights, because when you respect human rights, you create a good record, and because of a good record, more investment comes in your country. More donors will support you as a country, since we are donor dependent. The moment the record is poor, donors run away, and poverty comes in, and so on and so on. So we hope and we pray that we will have the resources that is needed to reach out. Now we know that the people that will make a change in 2016 are those who are in grade 9, are those who are in grade 9 up to 12. Those are the ones who are not voting this election. They are the ones who will be voting. So they need to understand what they are voting for. Not mob psychology, okay? Not mob psychology, because that's where you regret. Now, if civil society can go there and teach you, this National Development Plan, this is the manifesto for the party in power, this is the manifesto for the opposition, this and so on, they will be able to make informed decisions. And therefore, they will contribute. Even the education policy, for example, Doc, you are an academia. How many of our young people know or have seen the education policy in this country? None. Very few. Even some lecturers don't even have it. Okay? All they know is coming up with lesson plans. So that, to me, that is where we need to start from. And I hope that the new dawn will make these documents available and sometimes even translate them in local languages so that each and every Zambian, if possible, have a say and can contribute to sharpening these documents so that they can add to proper development of our country.
Thank you very much. On that lighter note, we'll end today's program. Today we were talking about the role of civil society in national economic development. Our guest today with my co-host, Mr. Noanja Pao, was Mr. MACDONALD, or is Mr. MACDONALD CHIPENZI, the founder of GEARS, a very seasoned very seasoned journalist and civil society leader. Join us next week as we bring to you yet another wonderful program. For those that are willing to sponsor our program, contact our marketing department on Camnet TV. Continue watching Camnet TV because Camnet TV is not just another channel. Bye-bye.